Alright, the car is now clean and dry, and it's ready to be polished, but first we need to inspect the paint and figure out what exactly we're going to need to remove from the paint as far as defects goes. So I'm going to use this special light here. This is, I believe, the Scan Grip Match Pen, maybe? I got it from the rag company. Anyway, see the light here and then all these little lines? Those are not supposed to be there. Those are caused by very small scratches. Alright, so there's some scratches right here. At the right angle, you can see a lot of water spots. So this is the machine I'm going to be using to be doing the polishing. This is the Rupees or Rupes. I don't know, people say it all kinds of different. Anyway, it's the LHR 15ES. This is the first generation of the tool. There are 3 iterations at this point. You can get the Mark III, and it's a great tool. This is a little cheaper than the Mark III, so that's why I decided to go with it. But for what I'm doing, this is great. There's another one. These are easier to see. See them against my white shirt. There's another one. Oh, you can even see the scratch right in here. Alright, I know that's super dark, but see that little water spot there? Right on the light? Alright, here we've got some deeper scratches. Make them less noticeable instead of taking them all the way out. As for the test spot, I'm probably going to be starting with either this Lake Country orange CCS pad or the Rupees yellow pad, and then potentially I'll switch over to one of these microfiber cutting pads. I'll be trying a variety of liquids. This one, the Last Cut compound. This you can actually use as a one-step, even though it is a compound. Depending on the pad you use, you can get a really nice finish out of it. So I'm going to try this as well as this Optimum Hyper Polish. This will probably not be enough to get the deep scratches, but I think maybe with this one and potentially the microfiber cutting pad. Oh, let's see, that lighting was terrible. There we go. You always want to wear gloves while doing this kind of stuff. You know, the less chemicals you can get on your skin, the better. You can wear glasses too, depending on what you're doing, and if you're going to be doing some ceramic coatings, I absolutely recommend wearing a mask as well. Once I'm done polishing, I'm going to be applying this Optimum Polymer Technologies gloss coat. You see, this is an old tube. I have hardly any left. I have a new tube that I'll be using. Anyway, this is rated for 2 years, although I currently have it on my car maybe at 6 or 8 months, and it's not really performing that well, so I think I just applied it incorrectly the first time, and I'm going to give it another shot, and we'll see how it goes. For my microfiber towels, we have circular knit weave. These are going to be the softest, most plush towels. For glass, terry weave towels. So these are what I'm going to be using to remove the polish. One that's damp with ONR, and then one that's dry just to, dry it off. For the coating, I'm going to be using one of these really, it's called low nap towels. The fibers are not very long. Either one of these red towels or one of these green ones, pearl weave towels. These ones from the rag company are really the best bet. Alright, so I'm starting with the Last Cut, wow, that's not even a frame. The Last Cut compound and a yellow Rupes pad. And I'm just going to prime it by putting a few lines along the pad. See that? I'm going to start it pretty slow on speed 1, hold in one place, and let the polish sort of diffuse throughout the pad. Absorb into the pad a little bit. Dry towel, this is the rag company Edgeless 365, I believe. There's still quite a few defects in there. Although compared to over here, look at that. So that's been polished. That has not. So it definitely looks better. So the way this tool works is this pad right here spins as well as oscillates. So, there's a rotation and it basically vibrates back and forth. It does this so you don't get the buffer trails that can happen from a rotary. The issue with this is if the pad is not even, it can stall, and that means it will stop spinning and it will just vibrate back and forth. When this happens, you're not really getting much cut or much correction, and you want to maintain pad rotation in order to maximize the cut. I'm going to draw a line on the backing plate of this, and hopefully you guys will be able to see when the pad is spinning correctly and when I've stalled it. Alright, so now I've switched to this Lake Country orange pad. Tell you what, all the water spots are gone from this section. From here to here. here. Yeah, look at that. That definitely looks better. You know, the yellow pad almost looks better. That's interesting. So I'm trying one more combination. It's the orange pad again, but this time I'm going to be using the Optimum spray polish. Look at that. So those may not come out, but I can do my best to make them as difficult to see as possible. Okay, here's after one step with the compound and the orange pad. You cannot really see any scratches anymore. And they're definitely still there, but it's much harder to see. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm in the middle of sanding this actually. I decided for this panel I was going to do a complete correction. Look at that. That runs the whole length of the car. Alright, at this point I have sanded the entire panel. You can check out the reflection compared to the other panel. Alright, as you may be able to see, the headlights are starting to fog up a little bit. So for the headlights, I'm going to be using microfiber cutting disc again, and I'm going to be using the last cut, and I'm just going to be doing a couple passes. That's what we're going for. If you compare that, this one. Springtime came around in Bend, and everybody decided that they needed to turn their sprinklers on. Assume that's where all the water spots on this car came from, and that includes the glass, and I'm going to be polishing the glass. And I have very little experience working on polishing glass, so this is going to be an experiment. I think it will be fine. I've seen other people do it before. That looks good. All of the polishing is done, including the glass, headlights. I even did the B-pillars. They look nice and black again. Time to start coating. Before that, I'm going to do one more wipe down with Optimum No Rinse. I'm going to go over the car with paint prep, and then we'll coat it. Alright, I'm just going to be using one of these orange plush towels from the Rag Company to be wiping the car down. This is the 500 GSM circular knit weave. I believe they call it the Eagle 500. I'm going to be using the edgeless 3H65 GSM towel to be drying the car, and I'm going to be using paint prep as a drying aid. This will help strip any leftover oils from the polish, from the paint, and get it ready for coating. And then I'm going to go over one more time with this and another dry towel, just to be sure. Maybe a spray on the paint. Alright, and just do that all the way around the car. So now I'm just going to do one more wipe down while the paint is dry. I'm just going to let it sit for a little bit. So at this point you should be ready to start the coating process. I'm going to be using Optimum Gloss Coat, as you can see here in the syringe, as well as the blue provided foam applicator comes with the coating. And then one of these Pearl Weave microfiber towels. You can use almost any towel, but most people recommend, especially the professionals in the companies, recommend a low pile towel such as this one. So I'm going to try and get this close up for you just to see if you can see the actual coating going on the surface. It goes on clear and kind of turns into a rainbowy sort of, it looks like oil on water sometimes, but let's see if the camera can pick it up. They provide these little blue applicator tips. You don't have to use them. I like to, just because it lets me be a little bit more precise with how I'm putting it on the applicator. So I'm just going to start with this half of the hood. I just like to apply it to this half because that's the half that's going to be touching the paint. The blue tip is clogged from last time. There we go. Now it's working. Oh, okay. If you saw what I just did, avoid that, because I just put way too much on. I don't know how much that cost me, maybe like $6. and you're going to apply it in circular motions. Is that visible in the camera? Yeah, it is. Cool. So once the coating has been on here for an hour, we're going to apply OptiSeal just to protect the coating while it's curing, and then ideally keep it dry for the first 24 hours. I mean, if it gets wet, it's not a huge issue because the OptiSeal will protect it, but that is ideal. So as you can see, most of the coating has turned clear. I'm just going to leave it a little bit longer. Alright, I'm going to gently wipe the surface now. You're not trying to remove any coating, you're just going to spread out anything that has not turned clear yet. And I mean, I'm using no pressure at all. I'm literally just moving the towel around on the surface. You've got to be careful with these syringes. One time it was kind of clogged, and so of course, you know, like the genius I am, I was pushing on it to try and get it to come out, and it shot coating all over my shirt, and I have no idea if it ever came out. If you can't hear anything, it's probably because my neighbors have been mowing the lawn for the last 4 weeks straight. I'm not trying to sound spiteful, I'm just saying. I'm a little spiteful though. I guess I ran my polisher for 9 hours yesterday, that's probably equivalent. You know, the one complaint I have about this stuff is I never know if I used enough of it, because this panel is basically gone to clear. Did I use enough? Did I not use enough? Did I use too much? I'll tell you what though, it's getting hot. I go around and do all of the plastic trim. The paint has been sitting for 1 hour roughly after I put the coating on. I pulled it into the garage just because I was worried it was going to rain. It is crucial to keep it dry in that 1 hour period. Now I'm going to go over the entire car with a layer of OptiSeal, and this will protect the coating for the next week while it cures, and after that it will be good to go. OptiSeal goes on super easy. It's actually very similar to applying gloss coat. So if you can do this, you can apply the coating